here. But country living during the Sunday laws, our website, advent-uc.com, we're going to have a link to this video later that you could pull up. But Advent, Upper Cumberland. So we're going to be in Cookeville April 4th, start meeting there at the Holiday Inn Express. So we'd be more centrally located for folks. But so let's get ready spiritually and physically. That's what David Gates would say. Spiritually, we all know that. We need to be in the right heart condition, have the Holy Spirit in us. And then physically, how do you survive the coming Sunday law period? What do you do? What's going to be happening during that time? So we're going to take a look at some of the things we need to do physically. So we'll look at some spirit of prophecy statements, and then we're going to look at practical things to do for your homestead, your ark. Noah got his ark ready, didn't he, for the coming storm? And we have a storm coming that's going to be directed at us, right? So, should we be in the country? There's not one family in 100 who will be improved physically, mentally, spiritually by residing in the city. Faith, hope, love, happiness can far better be gained in retired places where there are fields and hills and trees. So we basically understand that. It's pretty simple. The time has come when, as God opens the way, families should move out of the city. Children should be taken to the country. The parents should get a suitable place as their means will allow. Though the dwelling may be small, yet there should be land in connection with it that may be cultivated. Fathers and mothers who possess a piece of land in a comfortable home are kings and queens. Now, during the Sunday laws, if you have a home in the country, you'll feel like a king and queen out of the city, out of the turmoil and so forth. So country living is required. Ellen White always advocated for country living from 1888 on. Every statement you would see, she was pushing, for country living. So there are reasons why we should not build in the cities. On these cities, God's judgments are soon to fall. God's judgments? What could that be? God's judgments are soon to fall. Fire and brimstone will be rained from heaven upon these cities. Fire and brimstone? Is that possible? Is that possible? They happen in Sodom and Gomorrah. The calamities will come. Calamities most awful, most unexpected, and these destructions will follow one after another. If there will be a heeding of the warnings that God has given, if churches will repent, returning from their allegiance, then other cities may be spared for a time. But if men who have been deceived continue in the same way in which they've been walking and disregarding the law of God and presenting falsehoods before the people, God allows them to suffer calamity that their senses may be awakened. Okay? Last Friday morning, just before I woke, a very impressive scene was presented before me. I seemed to awake from sleep, but was not in my home. From the windows, I could behold a terrible conflagration, that's fire. Great balls of fire were falling upon houses. From these balls, fiery arrows were flying in every direction. It was impossible to check the fires that were kindled, and many places were being destroyed. The terror of the people was indescribable. That would be terrifying, wouldn't it? Right? Yes?
Yeah.
So transgression has almost reached its limit. Confusion fills the world, and a great terror is soon to come upon human beings. The end is very near. We who know the truth should be preparing for what will soon break upon the world as an overwhelming surprise. How many times have you heard a sermon preached on the great terror that's coming? Okay, that I believe is the balls of fire coming down upon cities. They're being destroyed because of their transgressions, okay? The Lord calls for his people to locate away from the cities, for in such an hour as you think not, fire and brimstone will be rained from heaven upon the cities. Proportionate to their sins will be their visitation. When one city is destroyed, let not our people regard this matter as a light affair and build themselves homes in that same destroyed city. Look at this last sentence. Our people, Adventists, should not regard it as a light matter and build themselves homes in that city.
That's crazy.
This tells us they can buy and sell when this balls of fire hit. See this?
No.
This is not something happening at the close of probation, way down the road. This is something happening earlier. Balls of fire hitting cities. And Adventists should not build homes in those cities. Okay? So this is something that's going to happen earlier rather than later. So this is alarming. You know, if you have family living in the cities, they could be destroyed by the fire. And here she's talking about Adventists not building in a city that's been partially destroyed, you know. This is big. You don't hear anyone talking about this really. Steve Wahlberg in 2016 started bringing out some of these comments, you know, and that was great. But when I was in Nashville, and this is a comment Steve Wahlberg brought out in 2016 at the Nashville First Church. When I was at Nashville, I had been speaking to the people in the night season. There was an immense ball of fire that came right from heaven, settled in Nashville. There were flames going out like arrows from that ball. Houses were being consumed. Houses were tottering and falling. Some of our people, Seventh-day Adventists who read Ellen White's writings, that's added, were standing there. It is just as we expected, they said. We expected this. Others were wringing their hands in agony and crying unto God for mercy. This is Nashville. This is just 80 miles from us. This is going to happen, okay? We're going to smell the fire from that.
Oh, man.
You know, being blown to the east, the wind, you know, we may smell that. So I have a website, firefromsky.com, that kind of gives a warning to people. But Satan here is speaking. Look at this comment. Thus the world will become mine. I will be ruler of the earth, the prince of the world. I will so control the minds under my power that God's Sabbath shall be a special object of contempt, a sign. I will make the observance of the seventh day a sign of disloyalty to the authorities of the earth. Human laws will be made so stringent that men and women will not dare to observe the seventh-day Sabbath. For fear of wanting food and clothing, they will join with the world in transgressing God's law. The earth will be holy under my dominion. For fear of wanting food and clothing. Food is going to be a shortage there. So we got to do something to prepare for this, okay? We got to do something about food. We have to prepare, right? The time's not far distant when the laws against Sunday labor will be more stringent, and an effort should be made to secure grounds away from the cities where fruits and vegetables can be raised. And then here is the big quote right here. This is one of the most important ones tonight, okay? Again and again, the Lord has instructed that our people are to take their families away from the cities into the country where they can raise their own provisions. For in the future, the problem of buying and selling will be a very serious one. Okay? So she wants us in the country where we can raise our own provisions because of the Sunday law. Okay? This is just straight out. She's telling us this. Okay, and at the very beginning, again and again, the Lord has instructed. You know, this is not just a one-time deal. God has emphasized this. This is a must-do. But if you read the Adventist Review, you will not hear this being pushed. Okay, you have to listen to the independent ministries to hear things about you need to get in the country, you need to get in the country, you know. So, and she comments about extra property, this is the way I interpret it, should be sold before the no buy and sell. Houses and lands will be of no use to the saints in the time of trouble, for they will then have to flee before infuriated mobs. At that time, their possessions cannot be disposed of to advance the cause of present truth. I was shown that it is the will of God that the saints should cut loose from every encumbrance. I view that as extra assets or property before the time of trouble comes, and make a covenant with God through sacrifice. If they have their property on the altar and earnestly inquire of God for duty, He will teach them when to dispose of these things. Then they will be free in the time of trouble and have no clogs to weigh them down. Your own property that you live in is not a clog. A clog is an extra asset that after the Sunday law comes, you think, I could have sold that. Okay, so I believe that is what that is referring to. And this is a comment, I couldn't pull it up, but I remember reading it. She said, the laws of the land at some point will require us to take the mark or we may lose our home. And she said some Adventists will take the mark in order to keep their home. Okay? So we have to be willing to give it all to stand for the truth. giving up your house and become a gypsy, okay? When you become a gypsy, there's going to be angels that speak to you, literally. Angel men that will say, go here for help. Go here to get a meal. Okay, go to that house to spend the night. Okay, we need to be willing to give up our home in that time. When do the ravens feed us? Okay? And I believe this is during the plagues. I saw the saints leaving the cities and villages and associating together in companies and living in the most solitary places. Angels provided them food and water while the wicked were suffering from hunger and thirst. Then I saw the leading men of the earth consulting together, and Satan and his angels busy around them. I saw a writing, copies of which were scattered in different parts of the land, giving orders that unless the saints should yield their peculiar faith, give up the Sabbath, and observe the first day of the week, the people were at liberty after such certain time to put them to death. But in this hour of trial, the saints were calm and composed, trusting in God and leaning upon His promise that a way of escape would be made for them. Amen. And then this comment, similar, the Lord has shown me repeatedly is contrary to the Bible to make any provision for our temporal wants in the time of trouble. I believe this is Jacob's time of trouble when the plagues are falling. I saw that the saints had food laid up by them or in the field at the time of trouble. When sword, famine, pestilence are in the land, it would be taken from them by violent hands, and strangers would reap their fields. Then will be the time for us to trust wholly in God. He will sustain us. I saw that our bread and water would be sure at that time, and that we shall not lack or suffer. For God is able to spread a table for us in the wilderness. Okay, so wilderness is where we flee, to a spot in the plagues. Ellen White said an angel will lead you to where others are hiding out in the wilderness. So this is speaking of the wilderness time here, okay? This paragraph here, this isn't speaking of the early time when we're standing up, for the Sunday, against the Sunday law and so forth. This is in the wilderness time period. If necessary, He would send ravens to feed us, as He did feed Elijah, or rain manna from heaven, as He did for the Israelites. Okay? But, the average Adventist thinks that early in the Sunday laws, God's going to send ravens to feed us. But I don't really believe that. She says we need a place in the country to raise our own food, because the issue of buying and selling would be very serious. So we should grow our own food during the Sunday laws, is the way it sounds. But during the plagues, ravens will feed us and angels assist us. Okay? So that's beautiful that God's going to be watching over us. So how much time do we have left? David Gates said he was speaking overseas, and this union president or representative was on the rostrum with him, and he got up and said, Christ may not come for another 1,000 years. It's like, wow, what? You're so out of touch with what is going on. And in the 1888 Bible readings for the Home Circle, from 1888 up to the 1960s, it said there would be 6,000 years of time, then 1,000 years in heaven as a Sabbath, that the earth would rest, and 7,000 years total. This was in the Bible readings for the Home Circle. Everybody believed this, okay? It's gone now. When we're the closest time ever, it's taken out. Yeah. That's not nice. I'm sorry. Ellen White spoke of 6,000 years 40 times. How close are we to the 6,000 year mark? Now, she also spoke of 4,000 years for the time period of 27 AD and 31 AD. Both these time periods, she spoke of 4,000 years. Okay? So if you add 2,000 to that, what do you get? Okay? Now, a friend of mine who's not Seventh-day Adventist, but he's a Sabbath keeper, he used ChatGPT-5, and he said, use the King James Bible and calculate, looking at the time periods in the King James Bible, and tell us what year we're in 2025. It printed out 3 pages, I have it, of documentation, and did this, in a few seconds. And it said in 2025, we're in year 5,998. Okay, this is a fact. Now he himself, he spent a year doing the calculation, and his calculation was just 1 year off of this. Wow. Okay, this is real. This is real. This is something we have got to be understanding, that things are about ready to come to an end, and I need to get ready spiritually. I got to be partaking of the early rain in order to get the latter rain. I can't be playing games with God. And those 10 virgins, the wise ones, they were partaking of the Holy Spirit. We got to have the Holy Spirit. We got to get real. And when understanding that, spiritually, if we get ourselves correct, then we need to be getting ready physically for what's coming upon the earth. I have a paper on the 7,000 year, tinyurl.com/6000 collection, but it's a PDF on 7,000 years. But so Revelation 13 speaks of 42 months. Okay? The deadly wound is healed. I've heard many ministers say, well, that's the Sunday law coming into place. The Pope is back in power. He's telling the governments of the world, you better have the Sunday law. Okay, that's what he did in the Dark Ages. He told the governments of Europe, you had better persecute or put to death these people that are against me, that are against my doctrine. Okay? So the Pope's going to do this in the future. He's back in business. He's telling the governments of the world what to do. The world wonders after the beast. And then it mentions 42 months of persecution. Now, Ellen White comments on this chapter. Notice the last sentence. This entire chapter is a revelation of what will surely take place. The whole chapter. There's 42 months. Okay? There's 42 months coming. All right? Now, Doug Batchelor has endorsed a 3.5 year or 42-month Sunday law. Here he is at the Sacramento Church, so this is some time back, but let's just hear what he says here. See if I got some audio.
Okay, so there is a precedent that, and if that statement I read by Ellen White a little earlier, she says, prophetic time is not to apply beyond 1844. Some have wondered, does that mean we don't apply a day for a year after 1844? But a day means a day. Now, with that in mind, in the studio, jump past this chart. We're going to go back to it, and I want to show, that's it, yeah, let's show. There are many people, you keep in mind, and I'm not preaching heresy, I'm just trying to stir up, since our church, the jury is out on this, I think that we can share it without being heretics, right? Not being dogmatic. Everyone understand? We're praying and studying. There may be a last day meeting for Daniel chapter 12, in addition to the historical. Okay? In my office, you know how much mail I get at Amazing Facts where people say, I've done this Bible study, I'd like to share it with you. I probably have had 1,000, I might be exaggerating, studies that have come to me or emails where people say, you know, I think there may be some last day application. These are good people, these are scholars in the church that think there may be some additional last day application for Daniel 12. Well, for one thing, we already know the time of trouble, is that past or future? Well, there was a time of trouble during the Dark Ages, but the plagues, when is that? Future. The resurrection, past or future? Michael standing up to the judgment ending, past or future? So many things we're looking at are future. Let's suppose for a second, you're going to have to look on the screen now at the chart that I'm showing. I'm not going to draw this on the board. There are a number of ways I've seen this arranged, but probably the most common is, let's suppose you've got 3 time periods in Daniel 12. You've got 1260. If 1260 represents a time of resistance and persecution, that would mean where a law is first made that compels us to break the law of God, sometimes called a Sunday law. Doesn't it say in Daniel they made laws that required you to break one of God's 10 commandments? And many have believed that that will be a law that will force us to break the 4th commandment in the last days. And during that time, there's what they call the small time of trouble. You can't buy or sell. That may go on 3.5 years, a time of persecution. What often happens at the end of 1260? A death. A decree is made when they see that the people of God, and you know what, the message is going to go like wildfire during that time of persecution. Yeah. Doesn't the church usually grow during those times? Yeah. You look at the 3.5 years of Christ's ministry, and the 3.5 years before Stephen was stoned, church exploded. There's going to be a great outpouring of God's Spirit. At the same time, there's great persecution during that period. I don't know if it's going to be this, but it could be. Small time of trouble. Can't buy or sell. Might have to flee into the country. And you're all going to come visit me in Kobo, right? I'm going to the cave, just in case you want to know. During that time. And I haven't told you where that is. But then there'll be a death decree. Now, have you noticed in the book of Esther, a death decree is made. And by the way, Ellen White says what happened to the people of God in Esther will be repeated at the end of time. A death decree is made, and A time period from the time the decree is made until it's implemented. You know, most governments give you a time and say, this is the law, it will be implemented at this time. In the book of Esther, the decree is made, but it's not implemented till a future date. The shortest time period that our government typically has for implementing something is 30 days. Isn't that interesting? So that might be the time from the death decree until probation closes. During that time, you're going to have to flee into much more remote places than just the country living. You might have to flee to the refuges.
Okay, so that was, some years back. But it was about 4 years ago, I emailed his secretary, his mother-in-law, right? And I asked her, could you please ask him about Daniel 12? Does he still believe in the literal days of Daniel 12 in the future? And 3 days later, she emailed back and said, yes, he does. So that's more recent. But then here, last year, what did he say? Here, let's see if this will play.
Okay, here's another question. How long will be the persecution of God's people in the last days, and will they have to suffer before Jesus comes?
Well, you can help me with this, but the time of trouble is broken up pretty well biblically into two segments. You have what you might call the small time of trouble. This is a time when you're forbidden from buying and selling food. Clearly, that's not the same as the death decree, because why bother saying you can't buy or sell? You're just going to kill them. So there's a period of time when there's going to be economic sanctions. Now, it's interesting. Not only do we know now with digital banking that it's really easy to control someone's buying and selling. You can cancel a person economically very quickly now, where they just can't buy or sell. And the governments are now starting to get into cryptocurrency, so they'll control that. It's just a matter of time before they're going to want to control that. But then there's what they call the small time of trouble. Well, that's a small time of trouble. But then when probation closes and the plagues fall, you've got your great time of trouble. And then there's a death decree. As far as how long are those, I don't know. Some have speculated, since there's so many 3.5s in the Bible, maybe the small time of trouble will be 3.5 years. We don't know. A lot of evangelicals talk about 7 years of tribulation, but you don't find the phrase 7 years of tribulation in the Bible. Mm-hmm. They get that because they're taking the final week in Daniel chapter 9, and they're floating that down near the end of time somewhere. But that's not a safe way to gauge it.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he's endorsed this multiple times, a 3.5 year. Now, David Gates, he has also endorsed Revelation 13 and Daniel 12, speaking of a 3.5 year period. Kenneth Cox, in his book Daniel, he also endorses the 3.5 years literal time. And like Doug says, there is a historical application to Daniel 12. The 508, Clovis becoming like Christian, and then 538, the papacy is got full control and reigning there. Then there's 1260 years of persecution, going to 1798, and then there's a 45-year period. But the next application will be similar alignment, but in literal days. So now Pastor Andrew Henriquez last month, he said that the Sunday law would only last a few months, not years. You're hearing error out there. It's very misleading. It's very sad, because this would cause a person to relax. Oh, it's going to last a few months. I'll just stay in the city and stock up some food and I'll be fine. That's not going to work. Okay? And then Dr. O with State Line SDA, he likes to talk about the Sunday law, which is great. I appreciate the warning he's putting out there. But he saw events happening in August of 2024 or 2023, one of those years, and he said, I wonder if Christ is returning this year. The Sunday law hadn't even hit yet. And he was saying, I wonder if Christ is going to return this year. That's not going to happen. In other words, he's saying the Sunday law, could be 2 or 3 months, and that's it. That's not true. And then he also has a mortgage on his house, and he tells folks that's okay to have a mortgage. Friends, that is so false. You're going to be out of your house in 4 or 5 months. You'll be out. It'll be foreclosed on. Okay? So you can't, there's some advice out there that is just wrong, and it's deadly. Being without a home. So you need to get a place as cheap as possible to fit your budget. Okay? You can't overspend and say, well, I'm going to just get a mortgage and everything will be okay. No, you need to get something as cheap as possible that fits your mortgage. And I'll mention this later, but you may need to go in together with relatives. Okay? And you go in together to purchase something. So you have something at least, that's paid off, even something simple, a mobile home or something. We need to get something going here. Mackenzie Trevitt with Amazing Discoveries, bless his heart. He said the Sunday Law could last 20 years. He actually said that. He actually said that. And he says you need a cow. You need a cow to do your plowing and stuff.
Does a cow last 20 years?
Does the cow live that long? I don't know. And then he says you need 35 or 40 acres.
No.
So friends, there's a lot of error out there. I appreciate him talking about country living and these other people, but there's the same things that are false.
Yeah,
Yes, Jessica.
I think it's Amazing Discoveries. They pull up all these quotes where they show that you need to have this massive garden that's like probably going to take 50 people to take
Yeah.
care of it. And I'm just like,
Yes,
it's very overwhelming. That
right.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's see what I got here. So, of course, Ellen White says in the last great conflict of the controversy with Satan, those who are loyal to God will see every earthly support cut off. So we have to think of that, every earthly support, because they refuse to break his law in obedience to earthly powers. They'll be forbidden to buy and sell. So can we survive this time period where everything is cut off? We can pray, we can prepare now. So we need to get a homestead established as soon as possible, right? You need to do unusual things to make this country property happen, to develop a homestead. Prayer and action are needed. Prayer is number one, but then we need to step out and do something for that. Now, Adrian and Wendy, they moved here from San Jose, California, the big city, to Tennessee, and they're going to show us their property. And how did you end up here in Sparta? You might could tell us about that too, when you're telling us
Stand
about.
up or?
Yes, can you come over here and move the slides?
Oh, Adrian, you move the
Okay.
slides.
Yeah, just stand near the TV if you can, so we can get you in the camera.
So how
I'm
did
trying to
we
record
Come
this.
to Tennessee.
So you hit the right arrow.
Okay.
Well,
I
we,
didn't, go ahead. I'll talk about this one. So, we first heard of Country Living by Elvin Bridges. He had a seminar in Gilroy, California. And so we were kind of convicted on it, and as time was going in, I was a pretty new Seventh-day Adventist, so I was just learning all these things. And then we started thinking about it and started saving our money and saving our money and saving our money, and then finally we started getting more convicted about it. And we said, well, let's start looking for a place out in the country. So my wife, bless her heart, she went on a computer, started Googling safest places to live in the United States, and this population growth, this and that, crime rate. So we did some extensive things. So we found Tennessee, and we looked in Cookeville, wasn't it? You found some places around Cookeville?
yes, I went on Cookville. We got a Airbnb because we took a week off to fly out here. And Adrian was talking about Crossville. This is a trip, because he was talking about Crossville. So I'm looking, on the computer, well, Cookville, it started with the C, so I don't know how Crossville went out. And I'm looking at Cookville, and I find a really nice little house, 2-bedroom house, to rent for that week. So we made all of the arrangements. We found a realtor, sounded like a young man. We told him our criteria, what we were looking for, when we were going to be there. So we set it all up for the Sunday. We flew in on Friday. And then Sabbath morning, we decided we were in Cookville at the Airbnb. Well, let's go find the church. So we went to the Cookville church. I missed the spot. Yeah.
Well, when we first got to Tennessee, we tried to get a hold of the realtor that was supposed to show us our house.
It was after me.
No, that was before.
No,
we
because it
met
was Sunday
somebody.
morning. It was Sunday morning. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm too detailed. I've got a problem with that. So, yeah, we went to church. And then we walked in, and it's like Sabbath school. and I saw Sean Ray. You guys might know her. She's a beautiful person. And so I said, well, let's just sit here. So I said, well, happy Sabbath, sister, happy Sabbath, you know. And then we started talking, and they were visiting from California. And we introduced ourselves to the few people that were there. And then I started talking with Sean Ray. Let's go out before you and talk. I go, okay. So we told him what we were looking for, that we're here to find some land and a home. She goes, oh, okay. So she was inclined to give me all of her information on a card, and I gave her my number as well. We hit it off. It was beautiful. You know, God's people, you can't help that. It just happens. Then, we go back to the Airbnb, and then Sunday morning comes. So we have an appointment. The time is getting closer. There it is. Nothing. Okay, Adrian, please, let's text him. We text him, no reply. Text him again, no reply. Called a couple times, right? Left messages. And I'm going, what in the world? And I started, you know, that sick feeling getting it funny. Okay, and so all of a sudden it was a good hour and a half. This guy didn't show, and we got the air tickets, everything, and came here with hopes of looking. All of a sudden I get a call, it's Sean Ray. I said, she goes, how you doing, sister? I said, not good. I go, I feel sick to my stomach. Why? I said, because we had a setup with the realtor and he didn't show. He's not responding or anything. Oh, sister, I'm so glad. I'm glad to hear that. I'm going, what? She goes, yes, when you were talking to me out in the foyer, I wanted to talk to you so badly, but the Lord said, hold my tongue. So she didn't. So then she started spilling it all out. She goes, I have a realtor for you that helped me get this little place for it was a vegan restaurant. She goes, and she told me all about it. And she goes, so would you mind if I get a hold of my realtor, give them your number and and tell me about your criteria to tell her so she could call you. It happened. It happened. And so while we were here, she took us to many different areas and stuff. Nothing came of it. We weren't convicted. We weren't convicted. And so we went back home. I was devastated. COVID hit as soon as we got home. I caught it. When it was new, I caught COVID. I didn't take the shot. I went through it. So I'm stronger, praise the Lord. And so I'm back on the computer. I'm working hard. All of a sudden, everybody's just going to the country. I look at properties, they're either pending, the contingency are sold. All these other houses I saw prior, they're just going. I'm freaking out. I said, oh God. I go, you want us to leave the cities? And I'm going, but look at this, look at this. So I'm looking a little above Tennessee, you know, Kentucky here, like over the border, West Virginia, and I'm just doing this. And I mean, I even went in tears. So I really lacked faith, you guys. That's a big shame on me. And then Adrian.
So I go, honey, why don't we just stop looking, just kneel down, just have prayer, and not worry about it no more.
Yeah.
Let God, if God wants us to be out in the country, he'll open up a door. A month after that, the realtor calls us up out of the blue and says, I found a little place for you all. It hasn't hit the market yet. They want a cash sale. They want it quick, and what can you afford? And without even looking at the house or anything, I go, well, we could afford, $275. And she says, well, I'll call you right back. She calls me right back, and sure enough, they accepted the offer. Well, that next day, that same day our mail had came, our 401k statements had come. We opened up our 401 statements and it was above what that was. I'm all like, God just gave us the money to buy it. Cash out the door.
This was
And
divine.
so Wendy's all like, well, I have to work. You have vacation time. Why don't you go look at it? So I went to go look at it and we really liked it. We decided we're going to keep it and buy it. But before that, I was walking the property and I was down in the pasture, and of course, when you get one place, you kneel down and pray. So I was kneeling down and praying, and I didn't even know this picture was taken.
Who took it?
The seller.
The seller was watching me from the window and took this picture. So when we bought that, when we first got the keys to the house, this was hanging in our living room.
Were they Christians?
She is, yes. So,
Of a different faith.
Of different faith, but yeah, they believe in Jesus and whatnot. So that's how that picture came. Let's see what other pictures we got here. So this, when we first got there, see the little greenhouse in the back? That was actually a chicken coop, and we're all like, no, we don't want chickens. Oh, this is
Good
actually
morning.
a video.
Wanted to share to the group some of the property that we had gotten here in Tennessee, moving from San Jose, California. So as you see in the background, this is a little greenhouse where we put our seedlings as they begin to grow, to get bigger, to go take to our garden. And it was a chicken coop at one time, but Adrian turned it into a little greenhouse. That's amazing. I'm gonna take you across the land as we keep going. Oh, by the tree. Let me see if I can zoom in. There, the little blue cap on the ground, you see that? That's our well that we had put in a couple of years ago. Let's keep going.
That's a story in itself too. Praise the Lord, he's good.
The Wayne has a story too.
And over there, let's zoom in, that is our solar panels that's almost done.
38 panels.
It's been taking a while. So praise the Lord. That's something, isn't it? That field is ours. I'm gonna come around. Excuse my kitty. There's a pasture.
That's what
And if you look further beyond the grove of trees there, you'll see another field. That's actually ours as well, and goes out even further. Altogether, we have like
15 and a half.
15 and a half acres, I believe. And amongst the grove of trees there is a small, they call it a branch. So it's seasonal. When we get a lot of rain or snow, then we have a little bit of water going through it. Quite beautiful. Yeah, just go around this way.
When we were praying for property, we were only asking God for 5 acres. Just enough, just a little homestead place. And God
Standing
saw it
order.
fit that we'd have 15 and a half, so.
Balcony.
It actually helps us with
off
our,
bedroom.
green
Okay,
belt
that's what I
tax.
want to share right now. More to come.
So, God is very blessing. I mean, it's all His, and I give all glory to Him. So, as somebody know what that is,
That may be a video.
it's a video
I think
too?
it's a video.
Just
hit it
Facebook?
again. Hit it again. Yeah. There it is.
Hi, Julie. So I'm going to be sending you some pictures, but I wanted to do a little video. It'll probably be a couple of videos, so it'll go through.
Howdy. Hi, Sister Julie.
Look how much weight he's lost.
How you doing? Praise the Lord.
That's another
Yep.
story.
He's off of his meds. He doesn't have to take metformin anymore.
Yep.
His blood.
Blood sugar's under 100 in the mornings.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord has blessed me so much. But let me give you a tour of what I've been doing. This is the plot I'm doing now. I only have 3 more beds here, but I started with these 3 beds right here.
That was a good year.
As you can see, those are all our tomatoes.
All our tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have, here we have bush beans. You can see the bush bean. That one's ready to pick.
Yep, we harvested some of those this morning.
Then we got eggplant. and there's an eggplant in here to harvest. And then we got cucumbers. These are lemon cucumbers. And we got regular cucumbers. My beets are ready to be pulled.
I will be pickling them on Wednesday.
Yep. We can pickle those, and then we got black carrots for juicing. And we got some bell peppers. We got some serrano chilies.
And
And
jalapeno.
jalapenos. And Anaheim chilies. And cayenne pepper.
Cayenne pepper. I'm gonna have to send another video. Over and out for now.
So as you see, we put a lot of work into it. When we first started the beds, I bought a broad fork because there might be a time when we can't buy or sell, we won't be able to get gas for your chiller. So we get a broad fork, which has four big, I think they're about 16-inch tines. And you step on it, bring it in, and you have these two big old handles.
Yep.
And you just pull it forward and it'll till your ground for you.
That's right.
It's a good workout. As you've seen, I did lose a lot of weight. When I first moved here to Tennessee, I was type 2 diabetes. My blood sugars were 200 plus. My A1Cs were about 700 or 7.0 to 8.0. Within 6 months, I lost, I was about 205 somewhere there. I dropped down to 165, reversed the type 2 diabetes, and God is just, he's just amazing.
That was just work in the
Yeah,
garden.
just work in the garden and eating right,
In the
of course.
summertime, so,
So this is the front of our house that the Lord gave us. There's some more pictures. We heat our house with a wood furnace. We have the furnace in the basement because the house did come with the basement. So of course we split wood and we go in about 10, they call them ricks of wood out here, about 10 rick of wood a year. So we have about 3 stalls filled with a year full of wood. So we have enough wood in case we can't get anything during the Sunday last 3.5 years. Well, at least we'll have enough wood already cut, ready to go for the furnace. There's our bed. I actually put 3 more beds right here. We're extending this out. We're going to do some more work back there, add another couple of 4x4 boxes for other planting stuff. There's putting all the fertilizers and stuff into the dirt, all the mushroom compost and whatnot. So what I did is, these are 12 inches. What I did is I went down 16 inches here, tilled this, got it fertilized, build the box on top of it, and then have another 12 inches of dirt there. So this way you have plenty of dirt and the roots will get deep down and be able to.
You have any trouble with gophers or
I have
ground
no
squirrels or anything like
no trouble with gophers or ground squirrels. Deer, we put the fence around it, and as close as the boxes are, the deer can't see where they're going to land, so they won't jump into the boxes.
Oh, nice.
And then for the first 2.5 foot of the bottom of the fencing around, I put chicken wire so it keeps the rabbits out. So I have no rabbits or anything. And then we finally got a dog, and the dog is taking care of the moles because she's pit bull terrier, so she likes digging for the moles.
Yeah. Oh.
That's the garden here. We have the tomatoes and cucumbers and everything growing. Some more pictures, beet harvest. Plenty of wood to fire. Got about 10 rick of wood right there. Yeah. So as we get all our food, we have to can. So when I was in California, we bought some canners, and we had never canned before. So I started watching videos and whatnot. And the first thing I learned how to can was tomato sauce. And then from there, we bought a pressure canner, and I learned how to can dried beans in little quarts. You put all your seasoning in, put your dried beans, a cup of beans, fill it with water, stir it, put all your seasoning, cap it, pressure can it. Now, what I did realize is, as I was learning, you can put all kinds of spices in your beans, and this way, when they pressure cook in a pressure can, they'll be ready to just pop in the pot and just warm up and eat. So, yeah.
I just wanted to, the ladies out here, Adrian learned how to can in San Jose with the beans and the tomato sauce. I really didn't. So it wasn't until I got here and we got all the different vegetables and stuff, that's when I started to learn how to can. It's been an experience, and it's very hard work. It takes a long time, a lot of walking and lifting, and I remember, oh, my back would hurt. But when it's all done, and that sound of the, it's a beautiful noise. And when you step back and you look at all your different things and canning, you know, everything you did, you just can't help but praise God, because it's such a reward. It's a beautiful thing. Praise the Lord.
Let's see what else you got.
Oh, good.
Oh, okay. It's my turn. Oh, by the way, we have food here, so everybody's welcome to get some food while we're going on with our program. So I don't really have much to say, but I have some pictures that I was going to show you and share with you. I came from the Philippines, and we lived in the city, and I didn't know how to garden. Although when I was growing up, I had some of my family, well, my father, his family had like hectares of land, and I had learned some things, but didn't. Well, I was still very young, so I knew they were planting, my grandmother was planting, but I never learned it on my own. So when I came here in the U.S., and then with Kevin preparing for the end times, we thought, you know, we should learn how to do our own garden, and that's the reason why we're here in the country, to do gardening and to prepare physically, not just spiritually, but that's
Right.
so these are broccoli from my garden. I'm just happy whenever I harvest them, and then I like, these are all organic. I don't put any synthetic fertilizer in my garden, so it's very rewarding once you harvest, and then it's like as big as my head, the broccolis, so it makes me happy. But we had some corn. I tried to plant different varieties of fruits and vegetables, and I do have something here from Adventist Home that I wanted to read, and it says, it's found in Adventist Home, page 142, and it says, labor that will quicken the mind, refine the character. In the cultivation of the soil, the thoughtful worker will find that treasures little dreamed of are opening up before him. No one can succeed in agriculture or gardening without attention to the loss involved. The special need to every variety of plant must be studied. Different varieties require different soil and cultivation, and compliance with the laws governing each is the condition of success. The attention required in transplanting, that not even a root fiber shall be crowded or misplaced. The care of the young plants, the pruning and watering and shielding from frost at night and sun by day, keeping out weeds, disease, and insect pests. The training and arranging not only teach important lessons concerning the development of character, but the work itself is a means of development. In cultivating carefulness, patience, attention to detail, obedience to law, it imparts a most essential training. The constant contact with the mystery of life and the loveliness of nature, as well as the tenderness called forth in ministering to these beautiful objects of God's creation, tends to quicken the mind and refine and elevate the character. So it's a character building, what we are doing right now, and really it helps with our patience,
Yep.
and because it's always not successful. We have
Yeah.
failures, so that's why when they say, oh, when the time comes when the Sunday law comes, then we can start our garden. We can, we will do it.
Too much to do.
But it's too late because it requires experience, trial and error, and that's how we learn.
Amen.
And
A beautiful one.
so I had some corn, not a lot, but
Are those carrots?
and these are carrots.
Nice.
And also, Kevin is very helpful with building. So he built me a greenhouse so I can start planting when it's still winter time.
Right.
But of course, we don't heat it. We don't have a heat there, but at least you can have a longer growing season when you start very early, and then at the end of the season, during the fall, you could still prolong some of those plants that you planted. Even, our tomatoes, we still have tomatoes in October, November, whereas if you don't have a greenhouse, sometimes
Right.
your growing season is already,
Just shorten a little bit, yeah.
at the end of August. So,
Beautiful.
these are just some of my pictures that, that's bok choy, and these are Brussels sprouts. And some of these, I have not really, experienced. This was my first time growing. This was just this past year. And I'm excited. I didn't used to eat those, but once you start learning how to garden, you kind of try different things and see how you like it if you grow your own. But if, before I won't buy it at the grocery store. But I tried
Beautiful.
different things. I had onions, and of course lettuces, and garlic, and of course onions. So, and the garlic that you buy compared to what you grow is just really different. Even the onions, and of course
That's true.
all of your other fruits. Tomatoes are sweeter, much sweeter than what's in the grocery, and all these. And then we do have orchard that I don't have pictures here, but it's very hard and very discouraging because the frost will get them, and then you won't have fruits at all. So we've been in our property for like 10 years now, but as far as I can remember, I've only seen a few apples, and well, we have pears because we had a big pear tree before we bought the property. It's already there. We didn't plant them, but that's the only tree that we can really say we can get some fruits from. But of course, it takes a lot of time for the trees to really bear fruits.
Right.
So we'll see. And of course, like I said, the frost gets them. So trying to learn.
What about your blueberries?
And the blueberries, I have some pictures here with my blueberries. Blueberries, strawberries, and blackberries are very reliable and easy to grow. And as long as you planted them, and you will really kind of rely on them year after year to have fruits. My blueberries have been really good producers. And yeah, I freeze them I can them sometimes. I do jelly and pie, you know, what is-
Cheesecake,
yes,
vegan cheesecake.
yes, so pie filling, yeah. And these are grapes.
Okay.
Sometimes you really have to make sure that you wrap, or not wrap, but you have these mesh bags when they're trying to turn, to make sure that you're not competing with the predators out there at night. Because it's very hard. If you don't cover them, they're gonna get them before you can. So that's part of them. And I have squashes, watermelons, and all that. So it's very how do you call that? Very rewarding and encouraging if you see your fruits, the fruits of your labor. And then of course you get to eat them, and it's delicious. So I have grown a bunch of different things, and yeah. And this is a Hungarian tomato, and it's Hungarian heart, and it actually is like a heart shape. So it's very nice and pretty. So anyway, this is the greenhouse that Kevin built for me. And
Oh, yeah.
yes. So I've shared this with some of our friends. I like to grow this here, but it's very time consuming. These are mung beans. Mung beans.
Oh,
Yes, so,
those are very good for you.
but my mom, when she was here, she helped me with the garden so much, and she planted these mung beans, and they're very tiny also. So anyway, it's kind of hard, but I've had experience with it. So this is bitter melon, and it's very good for people with diabetes, and that's what I heard. But so if you need anything, anybody that's had diabetes, I think it's proven. They said that it can lower your blood sugar. So, and there's Kevin harvesting the produce, and
That's the fun part.
and that's a candy candy roaster. I think Ivanka gave me the seeds.
Oh, wow.
So thanks to Ivanka. So
What is it? It's a veggie?
it's a squash,
Oh,
kind of like a butternut squash, but it's a different variety.
now is it that one hanging there? Or
It's the
you
one
cut
that's
in half?
hanging, the long
The long, okay.
squash. The one that is I'm holding is a white pumpkin.
Oh.
Yeah. And
Beautiful.
and we have some.
What are those, apricots?
These are peaches actually.
Mm.
Yeah. So when we bought the tree, it's already kind of like mature, and so they had fruit.
Nice.
And then I think Kevin will share some about solar.
This is one of our arrays, and we have equivalent of another one that's about 10,000 watts, but I'll go into solar later. And then these are our two 500-gallon propane tanks. I'll talk about propane later. But under the tarp here is my propane-powered generator that runs from a line off the tanks. So during the Sunday loss, if you're low on batteries and you have a week of rain, you've got to power up your batteries. This will charge your battery bank, your propane powered generator, okay? And then this is my pressure tank that goes to my well. And yeah, so you need a well. I'll talk about a well later. And then this is some of Laverne's canning. Was this at one
Wow.
weekend?
It's a 1 weekend.
My, that's a,
Okay, one weekend.
girl, you did well.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, over a period of a week. Okay. And then this is some of her canning here. That's nice. Multi-colors there.
Yeah.
Very good. And then this week I did 10 5-gallon buckets of flour and rice. We'll talk about that also coming up here, how to do these Mylar bags down in the bucket. I'll show that here. So now we have Pastor Andrew and Laura from Gainesboro. They're going to demonstrate some things and show a few pictures here.
We don't have a whole lot, but
Yeah.
That's okay.
yeah, we. Okay, yeah, we I wanted to first show you the bed. I think it's the next one. Yeah, these are. Oh, Laura must have sent some extra ones. Yeah, these are. This was at our old home in Murphy. This is what I wanted to show you the bed. So we've been using what's called the no-till method, and this was not our actual garden, but it's one that a friend of ours was where we learned this method. But what you do is you put cardboard on the ground where you want to have your garden. And we get the mushroom manure, and I've a pickup truck, so they'll take a scoop and just put a big scoop in the back of the truck.
Now, is the cardboard to kill the grass?
Yes, and also you get some extra nourishment from it. And so these beds are kind of close together. When we did it, we had a little more space between the beds, and then we got, a lot of times you can get free mulch, the wood chips from, when the county or whatever will cut down the trees and they'll just dump the wood chips. My son and I would go on the side of the road and just load them up. Sometimes they'll even dump them in your yard, if you can catch them. And then what we'll do is we'll put the wood chips
Where you walk.
as for the roads where you walk. And then we'll build up the mushroom manure. We just plant it directly in that. And what we'll do is, before we plant, we will use a broad fork, which Adrian already explained. And just so that especially if you're doing something that needs a little deeper roots. And so we'll do the broad fork to just loosen the soil. We don't even turn it over. We'll just stick the fork in, pull it back just to aerate the soil, and then we put the mushroom manure, and then a lot of times I'll plant 2 rows in for each one of these beds. And so if I was doing corn, I'd do 2 rows of corn in each of these. Usually you want to have 4 rows of corn so that it pollinates well. Sometimes I'll do 6. But anyway, this is a good method, especially if you don't have a rototiller, you don't have to worry about gasoline, and it only takes a couple of years. The soil, it really helps build up the soil well. And the wood chips, as they begin to deteriorate, and sometimes what we'll do, we'll put the wood chips, we'll put the cardboard where we want the rows, and then the wood chips. Anyway, you can put we put the wood chips on top of the cardboard too.
So you didn't use any kind of wood to make a bed?
No, we didn't use a bed.
You'll
We just
save
put
a
it.
ton of money.
Yes, it's also less expensive to do it that
By
way.
far.
And we have not had to use any additional fertilizers with this. This is another.
Wow.
This is the garden, but you can see it's. There you can see the wood chips between, which we use, and instead of like I saw with yours, you had the black weed. And you can do it that way. But the nice thing about planting it in the mushroom mulch is it doesn't get hard like regular soil. If you have clay soil, it can be very hard to weed. But it's just simple to weed. We use a hula hoe. If you've heard of that. It's just, it's kind of shaped like this with a handle, and it's got the blades about this thick around, and you just pull it through and it cuts the roots
weeds.
a little deeper of the
Another
weeds.
word, another name for it is a stirrup pole.
Stirrup hoe, okay.
Another name for it.
But anyway, this is just, I went the wrong direction. I wanted to show you just a few more. I went quickly through this. This is just some of the harvest that we got from that, or tomatoes. And this was Jerusalem artichokes. I don't know if you've ever used those before, but they're really easy to plant. They're just a little bulb. It's kind of like potatoes. and you dig a hole, put those in the ground, and they just multiply.
We couldn't believe how tall they grew.
It's a tuber. It's just a really easy tuber to grow.
Do they have the fruit as
Whoops.
the same as the artichoke?
It's not. It doesn't look the same. It's called Jerusalem artichokes, but it's different.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
tuber plant,
I see.
And it's under the, it's a root.
right?
You dig it up.
Okay.
And yeah, this is. I don't know if you've ever heard of purple hulled pink-eyed peas. It's an heirloom pea. It's tastier than if you've had black-eyed peas. This is, to me, tastier than the black-eyed peas, and they're really easy to grow. And I've noticed if you grow regular green beans, you probably have problems with the bean beetles. They're really tough to deal with. But the bean beetles don't bother them.
That's cool.
But we still plant green beans. These were rattlesnake beans. It's and what we actually had where we planted our garden, we had a chain link fence around it, and we just planted it. We used the chain link fence for them to grow up as a trellis. Yeah, so you can see some cabbages. We love beets; they're so good for you.
Oh, amen.
Wrong way. Yeah, this is the garden. This is when we didn't get to keep up with it as well as we usually do. I think this is. Oh, you can see in the back. Those are sweet peas.
Sweet peas.
Peas in the pod, you know.
Yeah, the sugar snap peas. You can plant those really early in the season.
Okay.
We really enjoy those. So anyway, yeah, that's about our garden. And did you want to talk any about? People already talked about canning. Oh, yeah.
Demonstrate.
I have a question
Yes.
about, can you explain more about this mushroom stuff? Is it organic?
It's so what they it is made from I believe it's organic materials, and they use it to grow. You've heard of mushroom, you know how they grow mushrooms, and the mushrooms, they'll grow the mushrooms in it, and then when they're done growing them, it's basically the waste from growing the mushrooms, but it still has a lot of nutrients.
That's what Barky Beaver and All Good sells, mushroom
That's
mix.
what we got.
Yes.
Mushroom mix.
Mushroom compost.
So you can pull.
I call it mulch. It's mushroom compost.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
That's
Yeah.
what we use.
Yes.
Mushroom.
You've got a table.
I wanted to show you one other thing. Yeah, let me show you something else. Just a minute.
You see it.
Oh, here it is. Yeah, are we supposed to bring you guys? Yeah, someone else. Yeah, can you grab the other end? So every year we enjoy home canned applesauce. I don't like the store-bought applesauce. It's runny, it's watery, it's not that sweet.
Beautiful. That's an
And,
old timer, huh?
So we wanted to show you our method of making applesauce.
It's the only way to make applesauce.
This is called a squeezo, and you can still find them. It's basically, it has this screen, and it has a like an auger in the middle that you turn. So you just we a lot of times we'll buy seconds. You don't have to buy the expensive apples. You can get a bushel of seconds.
This is what's inside there,
Oh, there, that's what I was looking for.
and it just pushes the apples through.
Sometimes we lived in a part of North Carolina where there were a lot of apple orchards, and there were some farmers that would let us just pick up drops
Beautiful.
for free.
Yeah.
But anyhow, if you can get inexpensive apples, we've even used deer apples, which technically are not for eating, but
You just take your apple, you wash your apples, you cut them in 4. Don't worry about the seeds. You throw them in a pot, put them on the stove with just a tiny bit of water in the bottom, and steam them. And then once they're steaming hot,
once
you
they're
put 'em in
soft,
here.
you'll know when
Yes.
they're soft enough.
You put them in here, and the skin,
You turn this, yep.
the skin and the seeds come out here, and the applesauce comes out here.
Oh, cool.
It's the fastest way to make homemade applesauce.
Amen.
What we found is when the waste comes out, we'll usually fill this up, and then we'll run it through again, and then you can get more applesauce if you run it through twice.
Okay.
And we'll just put a little bit of apple juice. You'll have some extra apple juice. When you first start turning, a lot of juice will come out, and we'll just pour the juice, and we'll use that to start the next batch of apples. And one of the tricks that we found is we'll buy 2 or 3 different varieties of apples, or pick. something that is a sweeter apple, like a Yellow Delicious, and then a tartar apple. If you can do at least 2 apples together, it makes a really
Like wine
tasty
sap or what are some other types?
Macintosh or Granny Smith, or so mixing several types of apples is a
Really
nice
makes
trick.
the applesauce good. So,
And then
this is,
someone talk. Go ahead.
someone taught me how to sterilize your jars quickly. You just put about 1 inch of water, 1.5 inches of water, and you put your jars in here and bring the water to a boil. And when you can't touch your jars, then you know they're sterilized.
I love it.
Yeah, and then you can just use a hot pad to take them out.
I love it.
And then of course, once you've put your applesauce in, make sure you wipe off the
Of
lids.
course.
And
And you sterilize these too.
Yes.
and by the way, we tried one time buying some lids that were supposedly reusable,
Toddler lids.
and a lot of our applesauce, the seal broke and it went bad. But the regular ball or Kerr lids, if they're not bent, we've reused them. So we'll buy new ones just because.
Yeah.
But we keep all of our old ones, and in a pinch, you run out of them, or when you can't buy any new lids,
True.
if they're still in good condition, they work, and they'll seal like 95% of the time. You'll get a good seal
Yes.
from them.
I just have another idea of how you sterilize the bottles. If you want to sterilize a bunch of bottles, you can also heat up your oven to 200 degrees and then put all your, so after you wash them with soap and water, make sure they're still wet, and you just put them in the sheet pan, and then you put it in the oven for at least 20 minutes.
At what, 10?
At 200.
20 minutes?
20 minutes at
Okay.
least. And
Thank
I've done that many times, because they actually even said that once your bottles or your jars are sterilized, because I wash them in a warm or hot water, and at the same time after that it's clean, but you want to sterilize it, so I put it in the oven so you can sterilize as many as you can.
A lot.
Yes, a lot.
We do a lot at the same time. It takes longer than this
There's 7.
than this
Yeah.
method,
7.
but yeah.
Right.
So yeah, this is a pressure canner that was
Yeah.
mentioned before. You can get these at Walmart. I think we paid maybe $30
Oh,
for it.
nice.
And so it'll hold 7 jars. And
Or small, pint jars, you can
Yeah.
put more in.
right, and then you seal it. The apples, it depends on, you'll have to look it up, but applesauce, it's just 5 pounds. If you're doing
Oh, yeah.
vegetables, some vegetables will be 10. But
These rings just
the,
make it
this
heavier.
particular one, yeah.
Exactly.
with the rings.
You got different gauges.
But then once it comes to there's a thing that pops up when it's under pressure, and you'll hear that the lid will start jiggling. When the
Yes.
lid starts jiggling,
Yeah.
like with applesauce, it says 5 minutes, and then you just let it cool down,
5 minutes.
and then you hear that.
Yeah.
Oh, and it showed this little tool here.
Oh yeah, this is just we just picked this up at a
Oh, yeah.
yard sale, so it helps you get your hot jars out.
That's a nice old one. I like
That's
that.
all no, that's
Yeah.
that newer one.
So anyway.
Awesome.
Yeah, when
But
it's
yes,
so hot.
we've canned, of course, green beans, tomatoes, applesauce. You can can squash. What else did we? Oh, we'll do tomato. Salsa. Peppers.
Yeah,
with our
yes,
hot peppers. We'll make
yes.
our own salsa. These, peaches. Let's see.
Green beans.
Yeah. Anyway, and I love the picture you all had of all the beautiful, and the can, they'll last for years.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many? I always thought maybe 3.
If the seal is still good, it's
Like this one I did in 2019.
Oh,
this
wow.
compared. Yeah, we go corn. Yeah, this is some corn we
They'll
get.
last 30 years.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
No, as long as the seal's good. If the seal's broken, you can't
No,
eat
no.
it. But
Jessica has a question.
oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I'm all the way back here. So I just started, not this last year, but the year before was my first experience with canning. And the Amish, like, they live not too far from us, and you know, they know all about that. So I asked them questions because I saw a lot of like different information in books and YouTube videos, but you guys have done it too. I did sterilize all my jars at the time, but then afterwards I was talking to one of the people at the Amish community over there in Spencer, and they said that as long as you wash them really good, you just need them to be warm so that obviously the heat, you know, doesn't pop the jar. They said, you know, as long as they're washed good, it's not a big deal as far as sterilizing. So I just this last year just put them in the washer and put it on keep warm. Is that like, well, how much?
Well, if you ran them through a dishwasher and used to sanitize, you're good.
Well,
But
then, yeah.
the trick is you don't want, you got to make sure it's hot enough to kill any bacteria that might be on it, because you don't want your fruit or vegetables to
They just
spoil.
said to wash them good, and I figured that was.
I would just rather be safe than sorry.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of work to can, and if
You don't wanna
hate-
Waste all that, not just canning, the growing,
Yeah.
and all the time you fit into.
I wanted to show you a couple of other things. We were able to get, we were able to get donated to us a 50-pound bag of cabbage, and we decided to make sauerkraut. And I don't know if you've ever tried it before, but it's so easy. You just, if you have a food processor, you just grate up your cabbages, and there's a ratio. You put like a teaspoon of salt for, you know, about a quart of, and you just kind of knead it, and the water will start coming out of the cabbage. Anyway, you just put the cabbage in, press it down, just the salt and water. That's all you need. And then once it gets to the top, oh yeah, here's one. Once it gets to the top, you take one of your outer cabbage leaves, just put it on top, and then I'll take just a little stone, you know, one of the river stones or something. I'll sterilize it and put it on top to keep it weighted, to keep it down. You want to make sure that you have enough liquid to go right up to the neck. So you want to make sure that the cabbage covered with the liquid. Now you can just punch holes in it, in your lid, and let it go that way. We bought these special lids. They let it burp, you know, because there's carbon dioxide that'll be released in the fermentation process. And so this will, and you want to make sure you put like a cloth towel underneath it, because it will overflow as it begins to ferment. But we let it, a plate, something to catch the liquid. But we usually let it ferment about 2 to 3 weeks. It depends on how strong you want your kraut.
Where do you buy that?
We got this online. You know, we got several of them in the package.
And what's it called?
This particular one is called Nourished Essentials.
Nourished Essentials.
Yeah.
Burper.
But anyway, that's what we call it. And there's different varieties that you can get. And then one other thing that can help you for preserving, this is more of a short-term preserver. But if you have like leftovers, you can put them in. We recommend using glass. A lot of people use plastic for their leftovers, and I'm learning that plastic can off-gas. You definitely don't want to put it in the microwave, but it's better to put it in glass. So if you have we always, as we use our canned goods, we'll clean our jars, and normally they would sit around for you know till next year. But this is a device that we picked up. It's battery. It charges with just a regular phone charger, like a USB charger, and it uses regular ball lids. You put it on. It's got a wide attachment for the wide mouth, a small one for the small one, and you turn it on, and it will pressure. It'll take the air out. It'll create a vacuum. It pulls the air out, and it'll help seal. You've got same idea.
That's the new range.
And it will allow, it will help your food to last like 3 times longer than it normally would.
Yes.
So,
It will reseal it.
yes.
Yes.
So anyway, that's another little tool that you can use. Yeah.
And it comes with a wide and a regular mouth.
Right.
on the.
Oh, so you brought yours
We
down?
haven't got one yet, but we're going to.
Yeah, and if you wanna try, there's our canned peaches, canned applesauce, and some cabbage here if you, wanna try it.
Okay.
Oh, one more thing.
Oh, blueberries.
Oh, yum.
I do freezer jams, with pectin, and you can put it in the freezer. Of course, you know, when we don't have electricity, you have to have a generator, but, that's another way to preserve food. And I preserve some blueberries in the freezer.
We like to make homemade waffles and
I guess this is
put
it
blueberry topping, you know,
Yeah, I
so
canned
that
these
makes it real
blueberries,
easy.
but this was a blueberry jam that I froze.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is it okay to also blend the apples in a high-powered blender to make apple cider?
Vitamix. Yes.
I guess you could, if you don't mind skins in your applesauce, it's probably it might even be better for you. I don't know.
Or if you do it
To get more of the vitamins
The
on the
nutrients,
peel.
yeah, some do like peel.
I just wasn't sure if I would do it that way because it's slower RPM and less oxidation.
Oh.
But
Yes.
if you're gonna cook it anyways before you can it, you probably doesn't matter.
But what's nice about this is when the time comes when you don't have electricity, you don't have to, this is a
Yeah.
mechanical.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes. I was also going to show you what I use, as mechanical also. Laura was asking me about, how I peeled my, pears. And I have pears that are hard, like a rock. So, but, an apple peeler is very helpful too, like this. So, it
Yeah,
doesn't.
she has the winter pear tree,
Yeah,
where the pears are harder, they're not like Bartlett's.
yes.
Has anyone had any luck with those forever lids? The plastic
Tatler.
forever lids? Oh, no, did I miss it?
Yeah.
No, they're like the little plastic lids that, they're supposed to,
The
they're
reusable.
Reusable ones? Reusable?
Reusable.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't get them to seal.
Wayne,
Oh, okay, I missed
What?
the reusable lids.
it. You can't seal it.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I must have missed it.
I know the ones that I got, I bought it, every once in a while you'll have these sustainable preparedness seminars, and someone was there promoting these reusable lids, and I thought, boy, that'd be great to have. But then I checked online, and you've heard the expression, let the buyer beware. I checked online and I saw all kinds of negative reviews because they were losing their seal after several weeks, and you do all this work and you got a bunch of spoiled. So you gotta be careful. There may be some out there that work, but this particular one that we got was terrible, so just be careful.
What was that?
It was supposed to be a reusable canning lid,
Oh, okay, good to know.
but I found better luck with the ball lid.
Yes, I know, I bought some.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of them that are not old, and so I'm
The
wondering
first time you
about
use it,
that.
it's okay.
Well, we got here in Tennessee about 3 years
So I don't
ago,
know his experience.
come Thanksgiving.
We only had them once, I don't remember who this.
Oh, you want me on the video?
I
Okay.
remember that.
And we had Thanksgiving at Kevin and Laverne's house. And Ryan and Meredith had been here about a year before, not quite a year, about 8 months. And Kevin and Laverne had befriended them. Well, this shows part of our property that we had, that we bought. We bought 16 acres originally. Got a forest, got nice ground to work with. And Wesley Geisinger, he helped us put in a road with his tractor and blade. And then he sold us his fifth wheel trailer. And we bought that as a place to live in to begin with. And it didn't take too long. Yvonne did one canning season in there, and there is no room in a trailer and she was, to say the least, upset. But she did a good job, and we got some stuff put up. And this was just stuff that we bought,
extra tomatoes. I don't know, we didn't, we get some fruit and stuff from some other people, but anyway, Wesley and Wickham's they helped us out immensely to begin with. Of course, on this property, we already had a well. Actually, there was 3 wells, and 3 wells and a septic. So that was a big help. You know, it was a lot of money we had to put in. Yeah. And it turned out that the wells, Kevin helped us with. He goes, well, I'll be over there at 10 o'clock to help you or something. And by the time I got there, he'd already hooked up the one well, so that we had, and I borrowed a generator from you, and we hooked it up, and we had water, and that was like, wow, you know, just, and it was good water too, you know. It was coming out of there, and it was maybe a little murky right at the beginning, just cleaning out the line. But man, I stuck my mouth to it. It was sweet water. So we were really fortunate there. This is a pad that Kevin helped me on this, pour cement and stuff. We had the trailer set up on the road. You can see the road bed there. And then we moved it over. Of course, it was a little cockeyed, and we had to do a little special. I filled this all in with gravel so it wouldn't get all these. The weeds here in Tennessee are something else. Wesley also told me we put in a 50 by 100 foot garden outdoors, and we got there was a old house on the property, and I would call it a little outbuilding. It had, let's see, I pulled the wood out of there and made 4 by 8 foot raised beds. And then the second year, I built up on that with more wood from the house. I was just scrapping wood out of that. Amen. 2 by 6s out of the house and stuff. And but I had so much help from Ryan and Adrian and Kevin, and just everybody was helping, so it was really nice. And of course, to get water and electricity and everything, you got to dig ditches. So I rented a, I don't know if I got another one. This is only one of about 6 or 7. I think Kevin came over and helped me dig one day, and I got all the lines in, you know, got the thing back in one day. And it's just one of those things, you just, the trencher just dig the hole as deep as you need it. And I don't know if this was water or electricity. It might have been a section where we put both in at the same, you know, same. And so we had water to the trailer and electricity. So this was, we call it Yvonne's shed. And you can see where the trailer was. It was right off there, so we didn't. But every time you need something, you got to go to the shed, because in a trailer there isn't much room. And we've since turned that into basically a
solar pantry.
So there you go, a solar pantry. We've got all our canned goods and canned foods in there. We have we use a dehydrator for a lot of foods. In our 50 by 100 foot garden, we had the first year was phenomenal, I'll have to say. We were getting like 60 pounds of tomatoes every other day. And so you'd be giving them away, and of course everybody at that time has a lot of tomatoes, so they don't really, so you're canning a lot. So that's where canning in the trailer really got to Yvonne. So we did buy, what's the food? Freeze dryer. Now Yvonne has this great thing for tomato soup with a cashew base. the really wonderful tasting tomato soup, and she makes it, dehydrates it, freeze dries it, I'm sorry, and then you put it in a Mylar bag with it's a little odor things.
Oh, yeah, the oxygenator.
Oxygenator, okay. And so we have a lot of that put up. And so this is just a picture of the pump that Kevin hooked up while I was on my way. Because we were living at Crossville renting at the time. Everything we owned was in Crossville. This one house we were staying at, renting. And anything I had to do, I had to come over here. So it was about 45-minute trip. So it was a lot of driving back and forth. And here's my 2 arrays of solar panels. You can see a little wobbly maybe. They weren't exactly straight. Yvonne points this out to me on occasion. This is our garden back here. We have, 30 4x8 raised beds.
Wow.
We have
It's amazing.
20 grow bags, and we have another 4 raised beds of about 4x6, and we still have room in there for more stuff. It's just, but we've covered the whole area with the black cloth, and then just laid the raised beds on top. I did the second year, I raised it another 6 inches, so it's almost 4x8 by 12 inches now. So it makes it a little better for like growing carrots and stuff, the root system. The grow bags work really well for root potatoes, sweet potatoes. This year we had I think we grew about, it wasn't that many grow bags. We just got a couple of slips from Ivanka, and I think some from Laverne. So we only had about 3 grow bags, and we got about 70 pounds of sweet potatoes.
Man, I'm jealous.
And I think I got a picture here of it. This is just work on the solar panel where we had to dig more trench. I dug that by hand. I didn't have the thing. What?
I'm over here. Where did you get the grow bags at? We're thinking about that.
Yvonne got them online.
Oh, okay. Amazon. Thank you. We're going to be doing that.
So that's all the wiring from the 2.
No, you said that already.
These are the.
Oh, the kitty.
I just built them 4x8 and then just laid them one on top of the other. I have 4 there, and I thought, wow, that'd be one nice raised bed. But I just this was the first year, so I just used one and got it going. That was probably the best year we had so far as growing stuff. I couldn't believe how much I'm just going to have to learn how to put in different nutrients. Yeah.
What did you use as your soil? Where did you get your soil to fill on?
Okay, we ordered that from Arky Beebe.
All good, Arky Beaver, all good.
They delivered in a dump truck.
They'll deliver it.
What's the name of the company?
Barky Beaver.
It's in, it's in.
All good. All good.
All good.
No, they don't have bulk there. It came over an hour away. I forget what the city it was in, towards Nashville.
They do have a big. I took a trailer there to pick some up one time, and the guy comes out with a loader and dumps it in the trailer, and then I had to tarp it all so it wouldn't blow away on the way home.
Yeah.
Feels what?
They have mushroom compost.
Wow.
There's our 50 by 100 foot garden. You can see. Somebody told me how to, the edge of this. Wherever you pound in a steak, he said, this was Wesley Geisinger. He said, take a piece of roofing material, you know, just regular asphalt roofing material, and lay it down on the ground, and that'll kill all the weeds and stuff.
Really?
But you pound the stakes, the posts in, and then I was putting the ground cloth down and using a staple. It's, you know, like a 6-inch staple, and you pound that in. Look at how much grass I get out of those 2 little holes. It's amazing. And this is not something, it's all the way around.
Yeah.
So maybe it keeps the animals away, I don't know, because they don't see it or whatever, but this is the 2nd year of corn. That's Ryan, he's 6'4". So
Wow. That's tall.
I never watered it, I never did anything to it, I just planted it. What?
So no issues with raccoons in your corn?
They found them.
This year they did.
Oh, okay. I think we
They
had
found
one
it.
year and the raccoons find them.
Ivanka, I remember his wife, she goes, you plant corn, you're planting for raccoons. Go ahead.
That was my question. We have not found any way, even 8-foot fence.
Oh, they climb like a little monkey.
Yeah, I wondered if y'all had a new.
At the angle it's set up, you can't see this from the house. You can't see the other side. I came out there one day, walked around the corn, and the husks are all over the ground. There's about 36 ears they got in one night. And Yvonne goes, I think it's time to pick the corn. So I was out there picking corn.
Need a garden dog, a guard dog.
Oh, yeah, tie it up around there.
Oh, Lucky.
Yeah, Lucky's a good dog. But not a good guard dog.
The raccoons are bigger.
This is our greenhouse. And as you can see, these are 4x4 foot boxes, and we have 12 of that. I have asparagus growing in this one back here. And this is just basically storage and planting and stuff like that. This was fall of 2 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Time is really
Seemed like yesterday we put it up.
It's scary.
It was cool weather, but you know, all this is, you know, kale and
That was good.
different stuff. I put some basil. We have basil there. We like basil, and this is about 3 of those. But we were. Yvonne wanted this square foot gardening stuff, which is okay. I don't know if this is onions coming up, but you try to use each square. It's
Yeah. I've seen that.
you compact all this stuff in there, and it's all right if after, say, one goes, you're done with it, you take it out and plant something else, and then you just keep on going that way. I'm not, I don't know, there's cilantro, there's a lot of salad, lettuce and stuff in there, but I have not done it enough to know, to get it down to the point where you got 16 squares in this 4x4 feet. So you get 4 or 5 seeds in there in each one, and you got stuff all coming up, and then you harvest it, and well, this is the idea behind it, and then once it's done, you pull it out, replenish, plant something else, and I've just not got the thing down yet. One of these, this asparagus, it comes up, but I didn't, I think there's more type of fertilization that I have to do with that. It keeps coming up, and it'll get about this high, and then pretty soon it's starting to bolt. You know, it's starting to go to seed and stuff. So, I mean, if you go out there and just cut a little piece off fresh asparagus out of the garden is really tasty.
Amen.
I had the best success I had. I dug like an 18-inch deep, long trench, probably about a foot wide, 18 inches deep, and I put organic material on the bottom. And asparagus is a heavy feeder. You put a lot of your organic material on the bottom, put some more dirt, then you lay out your asparagus. You know, the starters on top of that, and then fill it up the rest of the way, and we had, you know, years and years of good asparagus produced from that.
I just wanted to add that whatever when you put the organic.
Yeah, well, like we would take like cow manure
Yes.
and compost, you know, just different things like that.
And that's what I do also. So my asparagus bed, I just put every year like at least 4 inches of
Yes.
compost,
Yes.
organic compost every year. I don't even feed anything else. That's all I do, and they just grow wild every spring or
Yeah.
I have a neighbor across the road, and he's a vet, and so he's got his own cattle, and I don't know if they're all his, but I want to ask him, maybe I can get the manure from him because he's got so much of it, and just set it out for a year or two, because I know he's also got cattle in there that he's taking care of for his business, veterinarian wise. So I don't want to, you know, I mean, you're feeding a cow.
Right, it's gotta be organic if it's.
You want it to be organic.
Yeah.
And you don't want him, you know, the medicine that he's given a cow to come through in the manure. So I think maybe if just, I mean, it takes something like 10 years for soil to be considered organic for him to use organically. I don't know how true that is, but it'd be something to look into and try to find out. But anyway, Karen came over and she goes, I want some kale. Help yourself. You know, you can't eat all that. What'd you say, 2,000 pounds? A year for per person? That's what you gotta grow. That's a lot of food. And we never get through that. We use kale in soup and fresh kale and
Smoothies, oh yeah, with spinach.
Okay.
Beautiful.
These are part of our sweet potato crop that, thanks to Laverne and Ivanka, I don't know which one is which, but that was just in one grow bag. And they're only level.
The grow bags, yeah.
That big around.
20 gallons.
Yeah, 20 gallons, 25.
Okay, I'm gonna get 4 potatoes from the bag.
No, there was
I
more.
have more.
Is watering an issue in the grow bag?
We have a watering system set up. We've got one bought, but haven't put it in the greenhouse. And this is when I first put these in. We didn't even have the string across and stuff. We were just. Notice I put the black mat down, and I've since closed in all this, and of course put the string and stuff. So this was pretty early on. And the greenhouse is 24 by 48.
That's huge.
I'm amazed at how much wind we get here, and I think I'm protected by the trees and stuff because there's a forest out the back and then up on top, and we just get so much. I can't believe that how many years we've had that, and that thing is still. It's not. I got maybe one little hole in it or something, and I'm going. This is pretty sturdy plastic. That's when I was putting the stuff down. See the little staple?
Yep.
And the weeds just, it's like crazy. And they say it keeps 99% of them out, but I get wild onions that grow on my property. Is that everywhere? Is that everywhere? Who planted those? God, I guess.
What is the flooring made out of? Is that plastic?
It is just plastic.
You couldn't use
It's
that.
woven plastic.
Yeah.
It's not the landscaping pattern.
It's
That's what they use.
greenhouse ground cover.
Ground cover, yeah.
Amazon sells it. Comes like in a 300-foot roll.
Yes.
You couldn't put it out in the garden, could you?
What's that?
You couldn't put it in the garden?
Yes,
Yeah, that's what I use around my
Yeah.
garden.
Yeah. I put this, I put this in the greenhouse down on the ground. Plus I put, when I made the 4x4 beds, raised beds for here, I also put, we thought we were gonna have, like gophers and moles and stuff like that. So I put wire on the bottom of it, and then I put plastic over that, a thin plastic. It was thinner than this stuff. But the onions come up through this stuff. And this is the mix we bought. And
How much does that cost?
1,400.
1,400.
for,
It's a dump
how many yards was that? Yeah, it was a dump truck.
That's a lot.
They do it twice.
How many bags did they bring?
Huh?
How many bags did they bring here? Did they give the wrong stuff?
Oh, yeah, this was the wrong stuff that they brought. We had some things grow and some things didn't, and they told us it was the wrong stuff, so they brought, how many pallets?
I bought 2 pallets. And I probably got a
Trying to
pallet
make it
left.
good.
Because they give us the wrong stuff to begin with, so.
No.
You can just add nutrients to it, by fertilizer.
Yes, right, and then make it.
Because this is the compost already, yeah, it's good stuff.
Yes.
And as you water it, it breaks down and stuff. They call it bark eater for, there's construction, I didn't have any plastic on. Guy from Livingston Church, Mike,
Oh, yeah.
he came and helped me put it up.
Anesthesiologist?
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anesthesiologist.
Well, we got out of the trailer. See, the trailer used to be over here. And this is a single wide, 8 foot. And we have a skirt around this at the bottom, but the wind blows right in. So yeah, it's this side, right in here. So the wind comes up this way, and it just pushes it in. So I'm gonna have to do something here, take it down, build a frame. That's the worst part. This one section is just exposed to the wind. And everybody in the room came over and helped. I think we put a deck. We couldn't. We only had the back door to get into for how long? A year?
Well, really? Wow.
And so then we got the deck on, and that was I'm kind of a procrastinator. Oh, I am a procrastinator. I put things on. Kevin didn't get these pictures till yesterday afternoon. And the wood sat out here for a 12 by 20 deck. And once we finally got the boards up here against the wall, Yvonne says, that's not going to be big enough. So we went and ordered another 12 by 20, so we had 12 by 40 foot. It's a nice deck.
Yeah.
Beautiful deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Checked out.
I'm decked out, yeah.
Oh,
There's
wild
some-
turkeys, nice, a lot of them.
That's when I was working on, we were working on the day.
They're coming for supper.
Yeah.
They want to be supper.
So we
So our property, we had 16 acres and we sold half of it to keep going, you know, have the money to keep going. And we got some good neighbors, one on this side and one on this side. And they're transplants, one from Southern California, and we're from California too. We came from California, me and Yvonne and Ryan and Meredith. And Wayne and Ivanka. We're all Californians here almost. Escapees. So our property goes all the way out to this fence out here. And it kind of angles. I got this. We got part of the forest here. And you've got all these trees, but the wind is. So we see these guys every once in a while, usually the day after Thanksgiving. And this is early on. I'm getting firewood. We got a wood burning stove. Was it December, huh? And I'm going crazy with that because we had, I don't know, this tree or this tree, one of these right out here. It got hit by light. We were at home, you know, it got hit by lightning.
Wow.
And then it was dead. The tree died. And then we had one of those windstorms, and the tree fell over. So there was, for a while, I haven't even cut too much off of it. I just had to cut all the branches because the branches were extended way out here, and then I couldn't mow because I said, well, I got to cut all the branches. Well, I cut the branches, and this is one of the learning curves. And then I stacked the branches over here, and then the grass would grow up so fast through there. And so then so I could mow over here, and then I had to come back. So I had to drag all the bushes, all the branches up to here. This is where I burned a lot of the slash and stuff in a little pit. And every time I cut something, I got to drag it up here. So no implements, you know. I'm just. Do you want something? Do you want to say something? No? Okay.
Wow. Yeah, they're out right now.
That's so cool.
Yeah, the ton of them.
I don't know where they just appear.
Yeah.
And they fly in these.
Alfred Hitchcock.
Do you see them at your place?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, just recently.
A couple weeks ago.
You'll be out there and the
They all
cat and
take
the
off
dog
at
are
the
going
same time.
crazy and you look out and they're all up in these trees and they're chirping and
Yeah, they're
just
loud.
Oh, they are, yeah, they're all talking to each other. And then all of a sudden, what are they eating? Didn't even know there's any bugs out there.
I see the bugs everywhere.
These are our blueberry. We had 20 blueberry plants. Now let me see, we planted those about 2 years ago. Maybe longer. I have 17 left, but they're pretty prolific. They grow good.
Ours haven't. We gave up.
Gave up.
2 times we tried. I don't know what it is.
Okay, thank you, Ed. Appreciate it.
Thank you, yes, awesome.
Okay, finding country property. We're not to be hiding out, but we need distance from neighbors. We need tillable land, some trees, produces privacy and firewood. A house away from the road instead of directly on the road, you know, is ideal.
I know.
You don't need the 35 or 40 acres. You know, 5 acres would be nice. Some country living guy said you need 5 acres of trees for firewood.
No,
You're not going to be cutting 5 acres of trees for firewood. Okay, don't fall for that. But you can split a country property usually. You know, you go in with a relative, buy 10 acres, and it gets split into 2 5-acre tracts. Here in White County, if you have at least 10 acres, you can split it into 2 5-acre tracts real easily. It's instantly approved, as long as it's 5 acres, yeah.
There's a thing they tell me about if you've got a certain amount of acreage, I think Adrian and Wendy, I think that was one. Adrian and Wendy qualify, you get a discount.
If you have at least 15 acres, that's considered greenbelt.
So you can go to the co-op and different places like this, and they give you a discount right off the top if you tell them that.
Yeah, Ryan?
If you have a cemetery on your property taxes are free.
So put a cemetery in your property. Yeah, that's a good idea. I have buried my dog. If you have a cemetery on your property, your taxes are free, Ryan said.
Well, you know who did that was Trump buried his first wife on a golf course, so he doesn't have. This is in New Jersey, and I just heard that it saves him thousands of dollars.
Boy, he is smart, isn't he?
That's true.
So you can split a property, you can acquire if it's less than 5 acres, for instance, in this county. It's got to be approved by the county planning commission or something. So before you buy, you need to do some inquiry. Watch for restrictions on the property, such as zoning regulations, deed restrictions. Make sure the county will allow your structure on the property. Most properties in Tennessee are restricted against a mobile home, for instance.
You got so many mobile homes there.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, how come?
How come they do that?
No, it doesn't make sense because there's so many mobile homes in the country here.
Well, that means that property is unrestricted that it's on, I think Ryan's and Ed's property, it was unrestricted, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, because it was, out.
That was huge, yes. I
Um,
want that.
So
You're not
that's,
actually in city limits, you're outside.
Yeah.
it's out in the county, yeah, right. So, if you're low on funds, I could relate to that. Low on funds, what do? You could join with a relative to purchase property. Best if there's a structure already there. A structure would have a septic system in it, it would have electrical hooked up. You would be, kind of ready to go, and you can renovate it. If it's run down, you can renovate it. At least you're into something. In Tennessee, there's only 2 structures per property. You have a piece of land, you can only put 2 single-family dwelling structures on that property. You must pass code inspections if you're going to build. Okay, so the inspector has to come out and check each segment of your building. An RV.
If they have building codes.
Yeah, that's building
But if
codes.
they don't have building codes, they won't do that. Like Overton County had no.
Right,
building
in this
codes.
county they do. Most of Tennessee, there are codes, and it's got to be inspected every single step along the way. So it's kind of a burden.
Sounds like California again.
Yeah, an RV trailer could just be brought in, or a mobile home. It could be brought in. It's already been basically certified in the factory. It was built. It's ready to go. Mobile homes, they cost $10,000 to move. So if you see, really cheap mobile home, well, it's going to cost you $10,000 just to move it. And they put the straps down, and that's basically the $10,000. Fancy new tiny homes, they go for $60,000, $70,000. A little tiny home with 200 square feet. That's overkill. I wouldn't fall for that. You could get a mobile home, and you guys should get a new mobile home for like $60,000 or something, and you got 1,000 square feet instead of 200 square feet.
Right.
Cheaper type of mobile home. Now, a pre-built unfinished shed, like you may see an Amish shed for sale along the road. The state has regulations where your wood has to be graded at least number 2 or better. And so an Amish built shed could not be used at all. And then it's got to be, it has to be put on a foundation, like a crawl-space foundation, these sheds. You can't just have it sitting on blocks and finish it out and live in it. You can't live in that. It's got to be on an actual foundation in order for you to be able to use that. Then each step along the way is got to be inspected as you're finishing it inside. So that is kind of more complicated. Again, a mobile home would be an easier way. It's already pre-inspected, ready to go. Look on Realtor.com. Those of you looking for property, Realtor.com, look every single day for the best deal. The best deals sell within 1 or 2 days. Like my previous this house. I was living in Nashville. I wanted to get out this way. And I saw this house for sale. It had been listed the previous day. And I called the realtor. I said, can I look at it today? And I drove out here with my wife. And it was for sale for $14,900 on 7/10 of an acre, double wide. Okay, 1,400 square feet, 4 bedrooms. But it was a disaster. There had been dogs living in it. There was just trash all around the yard. And my wife says to me in the house, and there's the realtor, she says, no, we don't want this. We don't want this. And I said, I'll offer $15,500.
You had a vision.
The day before, I got my little inheritance from my father, and it was in the bank, and I was ready to deal. And I flipped a lot of houses previously, and I could see the potential. Okay, it looked like a disaster, but, and so we got it. And we had this big 20 or 40 foot, 6 foot tall, big trash bin delivered there. And in like dumpster, and like in 2 Sundays of us coming over to work on it, we had that sucker filled. It's unbelievable. The stuff, all the things in the house, things out in the yard, swimming pool, you know, but gradually.
You ripped out all the carpet.
Yes.
Yeah, we had to, yeah, it was inside, you know, we had to redo all the flooring, and we did painting, we redid the kitchen and the bathrooms. But just recently, some other owners of it sold it for like 120 some odd thousand.
Wow. It was beautiful by the time you guys got done. Yeah. It was just amazing.
Yeah.
It looked brand new.
So you got to look at the potential. What is the potential in this property? You've got an actual structure sitting there. You know, it's got a septic system. It has electrical hooked up. You know, it's a livable structure. You just got to put in, you know, sweat equity into it. So if you're low on funds, think about, you know, a fixer-upper. In the house previous to that, I bought in Springfield, north of Nashville. I had been flipping houses. I knew how HUD would price their homes, and I knew how to get the bottom dollar on their sales price. Like this house was discounted 30%, and I knew I could come in with an offer of 60% of that amount. Based upon the formula I figured out they were using. And then you got to add back the realtor's fee, so they get a net amount of that. And I got this beautiful 5-acre tract with 1,750 square foot double wide for $18,500. Okay, so there are deals out there, and you just got to be ready to look, ready to rehab the structure, think of the potential. You know, and then our current house, it was for sale for $75,000, and we just bought that house for $15,000 down the street from it. And Laverne says, "This is for sale down the road." It's a nice 2,050 square foot house on 2.6 acres, and 5 bedrooms, 3 baths, and. I said, $75,000, that is way expensive. You know, you're getting houses for $15,000 or $18,000. You know, $75,000, are you crazy, Laverne? And so we went down and looked at it, and so I placed an offer on it, $30,000.
Oh my, wow.
And this was bank owned, and I knew it.
Oh.
And they said, no, we won't take it. Well, I came back with another offer of $35,000, and they countered this time with $40,900. So we got it for $40,900.
Wow. What year?
We bought it in 2014 in the fall, and it was a 2005 model, so it was only 9.5 years old. Okay, and we have loved it. We've rehabbed the whole thing. We put in 3 new bathrooms, all new kitchen, all new windows and doors and flooring. But we really like it. But so there's potential. What is the potential? And you can make a lower offer on something. Okay. A lower offer, and go in with a relative, you know, we're living, I really think the Sunday law is coming really soon, and we have to act, we have to do something, you know. So what about heat? So I've got 3 different forms of heat. I have my propane, which we'll discuss, and then I have mini splits. electric mini splits, you know, the unit below on the wall. There's an outside unit, the condenser with the fan that runs, and then have a wood stove. So 3 forms of heat, okay? So wood stove, of course, you need to store up firewood, have the equipment and trees available. Propane, you need a tank. Like this is a 500-gallon tank, I believe. The bottoms have a 1,000-gallon tank that they have. Of course, have it filled. 80% is what you can fill it. Mini split heat pump. If you have solar going, you can run, like my mini splits, I can run during the day when it's sunny, and I get free heat during the day when there's sun out there. My solar panels are powering the mini splits, so free heat. Propane is very valuable to have energy stored on your property. Wood is valuable, that's energy, you know, stored on a property, but propane, if you can, you know, own your tank, you can buy propane wherever you want at the cheapest price. It's good for heating, for cooking, for your generator. That's very valuable, you know, during the Sunday laws. So you need to have that, you know, basically pretty much full when the Sunday laws hit. Legacy Propane Shelbyville has the cheapest price of $1.99 a gallon. And I use about 220 to 300 gallons a year, and I use it for heating and cooking. And that's how much I use on an annual basis. Yeah.
Hot water heater too, propane hot water heater.
You could, yeah, you could use a propane hot water heater. I have I think I'm going to be covering it. I have a 19-gallon electric water heater, 110 volts. That's actually, I think, kind of made for RV or something. But that's a better way to heat your water if you're on solar, because you're not heating up 40 gallons and you're not using, you know, 6,000 watts when that thing turns on, you know, to heat that water all day long. 40 gallons. It's got to be kept, you know, heated. So you need to have water, a spring. It would go to a holding tank. If you got electricity, to a pressure tank with power. And then a rainwater catchment off your roof. If you can't get a spring or a well, you could do rainwater catchment. But you need to have these NSF certified calcium hypochlorite tablets to purify the water during the Sunday laws. If you store it bleach goes bad within a year. So it turns to like water. So pressure tank with power, with a rainwater catchment. Again, solar power would come in handy. Well, my well cost $3,500 to drill for up to 200 feet. After that was $10 per foot. When you're buying a property, you need to ask the well drilling company, in this area of the county, have you had success drilling wells? Okay, find out in advance if you think you're going to hit water before buying the property. For instance, Van Buren County is a terrible county to drill a well. The guy with the water company there, I was flipping a house down there, and he said, I know a guy with a well, he spent over $100,000 on his well in this county. Okay?
Because it's up high on the plateau.
That could be part of it, yeah. So, so before buying your property, be inquiring about, you know, could you hit water once you're there? My well pump is, it's 1,000 watt soft start, 110 volt pump that is used in my system. Here's the water heater, 19 gallon.
Kevin,
Yeah.
she wanted me a picture of your previous one.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, it's a Grundfos German brand, found on Amazon. I know that's not a very good picture.
We have the same one.
Yeah, you all have it too.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
How long do they last?
They're supposed to last a long time. You need to change out though. There's a backflow valve on top of it, a backflow valve. You need to take that out and install a better, nice metal backflow valve on the top of it. But besides that, it's supposed to be good
So then,
system.
so when do you have to take that out to put in a better one?
It should last many years.
Just as it is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So this is the 19 gallon. You can get it from Lowe's, and it only pulls 315 watts. I put a meter on it, and it only pulls 315 watts. There's some others like on Amazon they're cheaper, but they pull 1,500 watts.
Oh.
Of course, it may recover faster.
Okay.
Okay, but, so anyway, you know, you're not pulling 5,500 watts, 6,000 watts, trying to heat that water, which would be hard on your solar system. Yard upkeep, you can have a gas mower, or you can have, like, this is a battery powered Greenworks. It also powers my string trimmer, the same battery, and it also powers my chainsaw. It's a very nice chainsaw that runs on the same battery as this. And the battery runs the string trimmer also. It's a very good chainsaw. So food, of course, this is important. USDA says you need 2,000 pounds of food to feed one person for 1 year. A ton. This is staggering. This is intimidating. Think about 2,000 pounds for yourself and everyone else in your house. Okay, this is scary. How do you do that? You know, we have these little gardens that we're playing with, you know, and you're thinking, how many pounds, you know, am I generating? Nowhere near this. Nowhere near. Okay, and you're talking about, you know, that would just be for one person.
We're just gonna eat one time a day.
We're going to go without food a lot. And it said you need 1 acre of land per person as a garden. That's what I've heard. That would be, I guess, to produce 2,000 pounds.
Yeah.
So again, that's intimidating. How do you do that? You need to have seeds stored up. Rareseeds.com, I think they're an Adventist company.
Yes, they are.
Okay. Rareseeds.com, they have heirloom seeds, which are, you know, the best type to get. And if you know that the Sunday laws are getting near, you might could buy up a bunch. They'll last 4 to 5 years in the freezer, I've heard.
Okay.
This is a good book here, Seed to Seed.
Techniques on how to save seeds.
How to save seeds.
Yeah, it's gonna give you information about how they pollinate, you know.
Oh, man.
You know,
Right.
you have to sometimes isolate how you're gonna save seeds so they don't, what do you call that? Cross-pollinate, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like ideas.
Okay, so you need a large garden area for planting, you need equipment, rototiller, tractor. Of course, you're gonna have to store gas to do this.
Yes.
So that's why Amazing Discoveries, Mackenzie Drevitt says you won't have gas. Well, he just said you won't have gas, period. Instead of thinking about storing up gas, which we'll get into. You need info on how to plant. You know, you got all these different seeds, well, how are you supposed to plant them? How far apart, how deep, you know, things like that. You need things printed out ahead of time to help you with your planting. Each seed is different. You need to print out the planting tips. Store up the harvest. You know, you got the potatoes that come in. You got to be able to store those up, you know, through the off season. Butternut squash will last all through the off season without doing anything. Just put them in a cool, dry place. You've got to store up your corn, your tomatoes for canning. So you need equipment to do these things. You need directions. So you need to experiment now, you know, instead of waiting until things get tough. Start even in a small way, you know, be learning how to do some canning and so forth. And again, if you have the propane on hand, you can run your stove, you know, to do the canning. This is a great university to go to right here. YouTube University. You can learn a lot there at YouTube University. So how to do your canning, you know, how to do this or that. Check them out. So heating food up, electric hot plate. Again, if you have your solar, even a small solar system, if you've got the sun out especially, you could run your hot plate if you have a small solar. And usually these hot plates are variable temperature, you know. A rocket stove, we're going to see that in the next photo here. You can cook with this little rocket stove using twigs. You just put twigs in it and you have a fire burning, and your propane stove, again, will be fed off a tank. But here's the rocket stove. It's only $40. It's 12 inches tall. You can put your pot on top of that, and you put the sticks in at a 45-degree angle here. They're burning down here in the bottom. This makes a really good way. This is a good backup. You know, if you ran out of your propane or something, you can cook with this. Let's see if I got another picture. Here it is. He's putting the wood in the side of it. It goes down here, and it's burning down in this chamber. And here's the fire coming up. You put your pot on top, and this is a rocket stove, they call it.
You know, I was thinking, Kevin, man, you can make a hole in the ground and those weather grills, go out and find grills, start that up. You got a few areas to put your pots on.
Yeah.
I've seen it done in the fireplace too.
So if you're planting trees, if you're gonna do it, you might as well start tomorrow, right? Find varieties that bloom later in the spring.
Oh, yeah.
If you have varieties that bloom the 1st of March, the blooms are set to be destroyed by the frost.
Yeah.
So look online on fruit trees that bloom later. Different varieties bloom at different times. No one ever told me this, but this is good advice. Find varieties that bloom later, like maybe, you know, in April, and 1st of April, okay? And then when you're planting your trees, try to plant, you know, 6-foot, 5-foot tree, okay? To get started at a more mature type of tree. Storing up food, there's nothing wrong with storing up food. Joseph stored up food for 7 years, didn't he?
That's right.
Ella White said she had 800 jars of food stored up. Yeah. So 5-gallon buckets, and you can get them at Walmart. They'll have a few, maybe 5 to 20 on hand, and each time you go, you can pick up a few more, you know, if you need a bunch. And the lids are $2.16, $3.84, so $6. And they don't have to be food grade because, you know, you have this.
But this is a food grade.
And so you put your bag down in here, and you open it up, and you pour your 25 pounds of rice down in there. And then you drop in, you cut this out of the holder, and you drop this down on top of the food, and then you seal it up, try to push the air out. You seal it up. This has these zip tie on top. You just zip lock it across, and that seals the oxygen in there. And this gobbles up the oxygen, the absorber. And so then you put your lid on, and you've got 5 gallons of food, or 25 pounds of food, ready to be stored for years, okay? So that's something that you can do.
Now, is that the right size bag for that?
Yes,
project?
that's the right size
Because
bag.
it's so much excess.
It's not really, you're gonna be pushing it out.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the right size.
Okay.
And then any excess that sticks up, you'll push it
You
down.
could only go as high as what you call it, the bucket.
So you can do white rice, beans, pasta, flour, lentils, various things. Brown rice will not last properly, I guess, because is it the fat in it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something in the brown rice.
Yeah.
Now, what about your flour too, like whole wheat? Isn't that the same thing?
I can address that. The
Yeah.
whole wheat flour, when it's ground, it opens up the kernel, and the little bit of fat that's in there turns rancid after a while. But you buy the whole wheat
Yeah.
kernels.
Yes,
Kernels,
the wheat
and you have
berry.
your own grain mill.
Yes.
That'll last for decades.
Okay.
And they will
Yeah.
not turn rancid because it hasn't been opened up.
Right.
Yeah.
Have a grinder.
Yes.
You gotta have a grinder.
Yeah, if you buy the wheat berries, you gotta have a grinder, yeah, to turn it to flour.
Okay, we gotta look into that.
Yeah.
You go to the Amish near Fall Creek Falls, they sell
yeah.
all this stuff. They sell the grinders and the wheat kernels and
Yes.
Yeah.
all
I see
that
the wheat
stuff.
kernels, I haven't seen the grinder.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's that.
So then here you can buy them on Amazon, for instance. Here's a 10-piece set, and it's got the oxygen absorbers with it for $23 there. So that's $2.30 each on that. So different types of food you can put in them there. Yeah. Canned foods, so you can buy canned foods at Walmart and they will store for years.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can buy trays, you know, of canned goods. And yeah, so popcorn even, you can store that in its original container and it will last for years.
And you can grind it, make cornmeal.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, tortillas.
Yeah. So gasoline,
Yeah.
of course you can use it in your mower, your tiller, if you've got a tractor. So you need to purchase ahead of time these 5-gallon containers, and then when the Sunday laws you think are about to hit, you fill them up with 100% gas, not the ethanol type, and then you'll put stable in it. You use like 2 or 3 ounces of stable per 5-gallon. And they say, I saw some folks using some older gas and they needed to use starter fluid to get the engine started. So starter fluid will help you get it started, and then the gas is able just to keep it running, the older gas. But there's this guy online said he used 4-year-old gas to run his generator.
Wow.
Okay, so that's really good information. So this will last, this gas was stable in it, will last for years. And you need to fill your container up as far as possible so there's less air in it when you're filling them up. That's another thing to think about. So communication. Stamps and envelopes, snail mail. That's one way to communicate, you know, with your relatives or whatever. So you need to have envelopes on hand and stamps. Prepaid cellular with data. Now, if you're trying to hide from the government, your cell phone always pings out your location if you have a battery. So I had maybe in the car, I guess, a Faraday bag pouch you can buy off Amazon for $15. You can put your phone in it and close it, and there will not be any signal sent out to the cell tower in that situation. Starlink for Wi-Fi. So this is a Starlink Mini. All I got to do is turn it on right here, set it outside, and walk back in, and I have Wi-Fi here in the building. Just like this. Okay.
Provided you can pay your monthly.
You gotta have the service, yes. Now you can put it in standby mode, and for $5 a month, you have Wi-Fi. It's 500 kilobits per second for $5 a month. And you can actually do FaceTime with it. You can do emails, and you can watch YouTube videos up to 360 to 480p resolution. Okay, and then I also have here solar panels here, which so these solar panels here, I think it's 80 watts or so. This will actually run the dish here. These will run the dish, so you would connect this into the input here, and so you know if you're out and about, you can have guaranteed power to have your Wi-Fi running and your communication with others. Okay. So you can do the $5 a month with Starlink for 11 months. That'd be $55. And then 1 month out of the year, you have to have normal service. So $50 for normal service. So that would be like $105 a year for Starlink. And they say you can pay ahead of time. So a person could pay $350 and have Wi-Fi for 3.5 years, prepaid. Okay? And it's the Starlink Mini that you would need to get, a mini like this. Okay. So library, you could go to the library to communicate with your friends, family, use their computer, or you can go to a store if you've got your laptop or cell phone and want to send an email, to friends or family. You could hook onto Wi-Fi during those times. Purchases during no buy and sell. Walmart gift cards, you may be able to use those. Okay, they're not linked to you personally. Okay, so that would be very valuable if you could do that. If you need to go in and get some medicine or some more food. You may need to barter if you've got some silver coins, that you bought and you have the purchase invoice. You could try to barter with folks during that time. A postal money order, these technically do not go out, expiration. So that's something to consider. Transportation. So, of course, you've got a bicycle, and of course, you can get an electric bicycle. They can go 30 miles if you have a 20 ampere battery. A scooter like this is considered street legal in Tennessee, no license plate needed. And they will go up to 100 miles on a gallon. And they'll go like 35 miles an hour. So that's a very good option. Of course, you've got to have your gas stored up again. And the least favorable are these things here. Yeah. But off-grid solar, so this is our last category here. Off-grid solar benefits. Running lights, cooking hot plate, fans, perhaps a window AC, depending on the size of your system. You need to always buy Energy Star. Yeah, the window AC needs to be Energy Star. You've got tools you can run. You can charge your laptop, cell phone. Refrigerator is harder to run. That's another hard appliance to run. You cannot really power large water heater, central HVAC normally, or a big regular electric stove.
Yeah.
But
depends on how big your solar system you buy.
Yeah, like you.
Way too.
Yeah. So pricey option, if you got plenty of money, I can't relate to that, but you can go to signaturesolar.com. You can buy a package for $20,000 or $30,000 that has the batteries, it has the inverter, charge controller box, and you're kind of ready to go. And they would also sell the panels as a package. Yeah.
One thing comment. He says do the work out of a big cost. Your cost is half the price if you do the work yourself.
Yes, exactly. If you buy $20,000 worth of solar parts, the labor to install those will be $20,000.
Too much.
That's $40,000 if you hire a contractor. That's the way it's been in the past. I don't know if prices have come down since the equipment has kind of gotten into one box, you know what I'm saying? But they like to really gouge you. But you can go to this place called YouTube University and kind of learn about installing your solar system. You might need some tips on connecting your solar panels and running them into the inverter. That would be the main thing you need a tip on, is that. But yeah, you can try to do the work yourself and save a bunch of money. Here's a package. Here's a package. $22,000 is 2 racks of batteries, which is a good amount of battery here, 61 kilowatt hours. And then you've got this nice 18K PV, that's photovoltaic solar panels that will take up to 18,000 watts of solar panels. And then this is your battery storage. That's a good amount of battery storage, the 61,000 watt hours. They're lithium batteries.
If you know a friend, that would save you some money.
So that's 22,000. Then you got to buy your solar panels on top of that. Okay, this is a lot of money. I couldn't afford something like that. I started my system back in 2016, and I've kind of added on to it gradually. That's the only way I could afford it. But here's a smaller option. For $3,200, you would get 3 of these server rack batteries, they call them. This would be 15 kilowatt hours, so 15,000 watt hours of batteries there, and then you would have a smaller inverter here. I think it puts out 3,000 watts of power to your house, AC. Okay, and this is $3,200. Then you need your solar panels. You got to run the wiring from your solar panels into this box. and then you run the battery cables from this over to the box, and then you have wiring coming out to go to your breaker box of the AC power coming out. And this is a little bit smaller one for 2300, and you would have this would be 5,000 watt hours of electricity. So that would be equivalent of running a 100-watt light bulb for 50 hours. 5,000 kilowatt, or 5,000 watt hours. And then you've got a small inverter here. So these are smaller systems. This is mine that I was showing you earlier. This is the back of it. You can put your own rack up. Put your own rack up like this and mount them. This is the combiner box where you run the wires into this, then it goes into the house. And then this shows you the back on this shows a 350 watt battery. And if you had 14 of these connected end to end, you would have 4,400 watts, 530 volts going into your inverter. So these are some calculations here. Let me move on here. So even a cheaper alternative, smaller system, you can get used panels off of Facebook Marketplace. Okay, I've done this. $55 for a 290 watt panel. These are good sized panels here. The system I showed you in my yard, that's panels like this. Okay, I got sheep in Knoxville whenever I picked them up on with my trailer. So you could get those, and then this is a cheaper battery here off Amazon, $855, and it's 7,000 watt hours of energy in this. Well, this one says, okay, 5,000 watt hours on that one. But, and then this is again the inverter we saw earlier for $700. If you bought that, it would run 3,000 watts of AC power into your breaker box that way. Now, let's see. And here's one, it's 1 unit. So it's this deal here. So it has the outlets here for your AC power, okay? Has a battery in it, has a charge controller in it, okay? To control the power coming in from your solar panels. Solar panels can be hooked up to this, okay? So this is just an example. You know, you could have about 2 or 3 of those big panels I showed you earlier for $55. Each unit has a different amount of solar it can accept, okay? But you would run this cable from the panel into the power station here, and it would charge your battery up during the day, put this out in the yard, your solar panels, run a line into this.
The big solar panel.
Yeah, the big solar panels I was telling you about. And so it would charge this up during the day. During the day, you can use the power also, and it's regenerating through the solar panels. So this is a basic system you could get. Anybody could basically get this. And there's different levels. It goes down to about $800 and goes up to like $8,000, a unit like this. Of course, the $8,000 one's big and it's fairly tall, but it's all 1 unit. It's a charge controller. It's an inverter, inverting the power to AC and so forth.
That's what I did. I bought a smaller EcoFlow.
Yeah.
And, you know, Black Friday, I had 400 watts of solar panels, which is just too
Okay.
small to and then I have a 12-volt ice chest like fridge. So when my power goes out, I can put my cold stuff in there. That powers it. It powers my lights, my internet, you know, different things like that.
So this
and
would,
it's very cheap and inexpensive compared to all this big stuff.
Yeah.
And it's something I can do.
This would power like some fans during the summer.
Yeah, fans.
And some lights in your house. You can actually, the output on this, which accepts, a male plug goes in, you can wire a male plug on the other end of your cord and plug that into your outlet. And that would charge half of your breaker box with about 1,700 watts of power. See what I'm saying, Wayne?
Yeah, male to male. I
Yes.
didn't know you could do that.
You can run it right back into the breaker box through the outlet. Okay, you need to make sure all your power is off. This is during the Sunday laws. All your power is off. And you could add more batteries to this. I could add on another battery. All it is a battery. It's not a charge controller. It's not an inverter. It does not have the outlets on it. It's just a battery that makes this store more energy, okay? You would put that basically underneath this. This would be a little taller, okay? This is a unit here for 6,000. See, there's two big batteries here, and this is the inverter charger up here. And it's got 7,200 watts AC output, 12 kW. Okay, so this is 12,000 watt hours here, the battery. And it's got 7,000 watts AC output to go to your breaker box, but that's 6,000. And then you need to add your solar panels to that, to charge it up during the day. Here's one for 8,000. So there's different ones. EcoFlow seems to be a good brand, for instance. They even have a breaker box where you would just power that breaker box with solar, and it's kind of a standalone sub panel. And this is one like this, but it's the extra battery they bought, an off-the-shelf server rack battery, and they connected their own plug to connect into this. And the name of this is what they don't want you to know about cheap batteries for solar generators. So that's the way, I think they got it at least half price by doing that, wiring it up. So do the following at your own risk. With the input utility power disconnected, a breaker box or meter removed, no input utility power, run power to a 25 amp breaker in the breaker box. Okay, that's one way to do it. Or you could run the output power on this, the regular outlet, like I said, into an outlet in your house. That would power half of your breaker box, but of course it's only about 1,700 watts. But it would give you, your house, some power just directly from this into that, and boom, you may be able to run some lights and various outlets, in your house. So, anyway, property taxes, it may take 2 or 3 years to finally be removed from your property. I was going to call them and ask about this, but I know they do, at some point they'll auction your property, but then the property owner has a year to redeem it back.
Oh, I was going to ask about prepay. So they won't even let you prepay.
Not this county anyway. I've asked them numerous times. Postal money order might work if you had one that you had not filled it out yet and say, hey, I've got this postal money order. I could try to take it down there and pay. Yeah, so that's kind of a problem. You need to store miscellaneous things that you'll need during that time. YouTube University. Literature for witnessing. We need to be buying boxes of literature now, that we will have stacked up, ready to go during the Sunday laws. So others are going to come to your home, and they're going to say, what's for supper? Okay, you're going to have to feed these people coming in, and be cautious who's living on your property. You're going to bring somebody in that's going to be a troublemaker, you know what I'm saying? You got to be selective. So anyway, let's get ready spiritually and physically for what's coming. And you can check out our website, advent-uc.com. But anyway, yeah, spiritually and physically. Thank y'all for coming out. Yes?
I have 2 questions. One, those plastic buckets, if you got those that are food grade, would you have to put the Mylar bags in them? You couldn't just store
Yes,
them?
because I don't know that the lid is 100% sealing. So I would definitely buy the Mylar bags. It's only $2.30, and it gets with oxygen absorbers with it.
If you got that type, those buckets from Lowe's don't seal well. But if you get the
heavy duty
ones with
Yep.
the gamma seal.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep, yep, yep.
They
Yeah, it's
it's
hard
hard
to
to even
open,
open them,
yeah.
and all you would need is oxygen.
Oxygen absorber.
Right.
Yeah.
Or dry ice. Years ago,
Yeah.
I used dry ice to get
Yeah.
involved in.
But those are more expensive, the ones
They
that
are.
are heavy duty.
So it's probably cheaper to buy the.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another question,
Yeah.
change, a different subject. You didn't mention about, hand pumps. Does anybody know anything about?
For water?
hand pumps for a
He
well?
had a picture of it.
I saw the
Yeah, but he
picture and I
didn't-
was hoping.
Yes, those are only good for 25 feet.
Right.
They'll only lift water 25 feet vertically, okay? So they're very limited. Your water would have to be near the surface. Most wells, like if you have a standard well, the water starts 50 feet down or 100 feet down. The water starts and it goes down from there, the depth of the water, you know. So those are very limited. Now you can buy like a $2,000 model and it will pull water up from a much further depth. Okay, but they're expensive. Yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of things to think about, and you know, this isn't being talked about in Adventism. It's just not, you know, basically mainstream Adventism thinks this is fanatical. This is you're being crazy. Yeah. So, but anyway, okay. Well, let's have a closing prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you about the secret military intelligence you gave us through the writings of Ellen White, telling us to get ready, a place in the country to grow our own food. We want to be faithful to you, so please prompt us in what we need to do, steps we need to take to get ready for what's coming on the world and to help others also along the way. Thank you for Jesus and all that he's done for us. In Jesus' name, amen. Thanks for coming out.